Hey there, Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new card making video. Today I am painting with shaving cream and then making 3 cards with the backgrounds I make. So to make some shaving cream backgrounds for your card making, you're going to need a tray or a paper plate. This is a styrofoam tray that once had croissants in it. And I have shaving cream, not shaving gel, just traditional old shaving cream, and I'm going to fill up that plate. I don't want to have any big gaps, so I'm smoothing it out with a plastic fork. Then you're going to need some color. I'm going to use my ink refill for my Distress ink pad in Saltwater Taffy. I'm going to drop this all over. Now, if you missed my previous shaving cream video, it was several months ago, maybe almost a year ago, oh my word, but I was sharing a technique I learned from middle schoolers. I'm going to show it to you briefly here, but I will also have that video for you at the end of this one so you can watch it next. So here's where you would normally take a shaving cream print. This is how I learned it, but I, from the middle schoolers, learned that you can do so much more. So I am mixing in all that color and tinting my shaving cream to this saltwater taffy. Then I'm going to put some more drops on. Now, this tray is going to fill a whole entire sheet of cardstock, 8.5 by 11. You can do this smaller with a card front size panel, like on a paper plate, and that's a lot easier. Now what I'm going to do with that color is take a gift card, or this happens to be a hotel room key, and I am smearing it across to get this really cool look. So this is what I thought I was going to do for the backgrounds on my card, just this right here. But I got a little crazy and a little messy and had so much fun. It turned into shaving cream painting. So I'm going to show you what that is in just a minute, but first let's see what this particular background looks like. If I pull it off and I see there's some white spots, I'll just put it back down. That just means there was like an air bubble there, and I'll press it back in so it can get some of that color on there. So then I take this scrapbook.com scraper. Again, you can use a credit card for this, or a room key, or a gift card that's, anything that's used up like that. But this scraper gets so much off. I love it so much. So there's the background. It's super cool. But I had all this colorful shaving cream left on my scraper. So I decided to just pounce it onto another sheet of white cardstock. And oh my word, it was transferring and making a really cool background. So that just gave me more and more ideas as I went. I'm smearing it. I'm pouncing it. I'm just kind of painting with it, even though it's on a palette, like a palette knife or this scraper, and it was so much fun. I didn't want to waste any of the shaving cream. The color was transferring so good, and you can really use any type of ink refill that you have, or liquid watercolors for this would be lots of fun. So I still had more on there, so I thought I'm just going to smear it on there and see what I get. So I am using the same exact shaving cream still from that very first print, and it is so awesome that I'm still getting amazing transfers with it. I'm loving it. They look a little brighter in person than they're showing up on screen, I should mention. Okay, here's that tray of shaving cream. I decided to take a second print, which I always do when I'm doing shaving cream, and see what I get with a second pull. So that obviously has enough ink and made a great second print. Very cool look there. And the reason why I'm making these today is because I'm going to be making some cards that have stamps that have frosting and cotton candy and ice cream, and I always think of shaving cream backgrounds when I'm creating with stamped images like that. So these are going to be for that type of card, which you probably saw in the cover photo of this video. And now I'm just pouncing this all over, and this again is a shaving cream I wiped off of that last print. So I'm going to get some darker areas and some lighter areas on this print, but I thought it might be fun to press another piece of paper down and get 2 for 1. So let's scrape the shaving cream off the first one and see what that looks like. Oh yeah, it's so good. I'm creating so many backgrounds here that I can use for a while. And now let's scrape the shaving cream off the second one. This one almost has some like bubble type look places in it. I don't know. It's very fun. So don't forget, you can sandwich your two pieces of cardstock together. And I'm still have not added any shaving cream. I've not washed any away at all. So I'm just swirling this and mixing it now, the shaving cream left on the tray, trying to get it flat, and I decided to introduce a second color. So this is like a liquid watercolor, and it's lemon drop, I believe. It's not something that you can purchase anymore, but like I said, just use any dye-based ink refills that you have. I've yet to try Distress Oxide with this. But you see here, this time instead of just going one direction with swiping my color, I went two directions so I could get some variation and just a different look. And let's see what we get here. Again, press it down if you see any big air bubbles, and then we scrape it off. And yes, it is getting all over my glass mat, but I will tell you it cleans up so easily. All right, so there's my print. It looks so good. That yellow is quite bright, but let's do a little more painting. So I'm taking that scraper with the shaving cream on it, and I'm just doing kind of a swirling, not a swirl, but like a wave motion, and doing this just in random spots on the paper, not worrying if I'm overlapping something else. And the shaving cream on the palette kind of looks like it's mixed together, but you definitely can see in the print itself, I'm getting distinct yellow and distinct pink. Still, I have not started with any new shaving cream. So now I'm pressing down with what I had left in there, taking a second print after adding that yellow ink, and still I'm getting a ton of ink. And I can tell the shaving cream isn't as fluffy as it once was. It's kind of flattened out, and I was still able to pick up ink off the top of that surface. So this one's gorgeous. Loving that one. Okay, I have all that shaving cream left, and I thought, let's try to do some just straight lines and get something a little bit more linear than swirly. And I thought, it's just cool. This looks like there's barely anything there, but you can see it a little bit darker in person, and I love the lines. So there's just a lot you can do with these backgrounds. You can use them to die cut things, of course, for backgrounds on your card, and you can use them in smaller ways, like I said, die cutting things out, and that's one of my favorite things to do with the prints. But I ran and got me some rubber gloves from the bathroom and decided I would just pick it up and paint with my fingers, do some finger painting, and this one might be my favorite. I had so much fun doing this. I just decided, you know what, you gotta work out with your art what's in your heart. And so, if you are having a tough time of things, maybe you should do something like this. Get a little messy, get in there and just play. Like, don't worry about making something from start to finish, but just make some backgrounds and play with some shaving cream, play with some paint. So here I'm going to take the shaving cream right off the tray and just make little circles, little swirl it around and see what I get. And it looks like it's getting kind of orangey here, but there's still paint in there. So I am going to get pink and yellow still with this background. And this was so fun. This actually is one of the prints I'm going to use on my cards today. So this will be the print for card number 1. And it looks so good. This is going to be the card that I use for my cotton candy card. Doesn't it look like cotton candy? So like light and fluffy. Yeah, so I was able to just go back, add a little bit more even after I scraped it, and I think it's so pretty. It's so pretty. So now I'm taking everything that's left and I'm just going to go crazy. I'm going to smear this on here to my heart's content, and this is all about just being messy and not caring about what it's going to look like, just feeling the shaving cream, just spreading it around, squishing it in between my fingers, kind of like a kid would. And you know what? It's kind of therapeutic. It's fun. So I'm going to get almost a solid like pastel orange background on this one, but there's still spots of pink and swirls of yellow. And I love that. And I could pull the gloves off and I had almost no shaving cream on my hands whatsoever. So just a little bit from where I pulled them off. So there you go. Let's take a look at all the backgrounds, just like a real quick flip through of all the things. And now these are not necessarily order that I made them because they were kind of all over drying. The paper does get a tiny bit damp, and so you do want to give it a little time to dry. And there's a couple things like when you're stamping on top of this, you're going to need more of like a pigment ink. When you're sticking things down to it, it has a really soft surface. And so a little bit of like residue on there, a little film. So I recommend liquid glue on top of this or a combination of tape and glue to make sure things don't, pop off from that kind of film that's on top of the paper. So aren't these fabulous? Oh my goodness. I really love making my own backgrounds. It's when I really feel most like an artist. So if you do not make your own backgrounds, maybe you should give this one a try. It's so fun. Okay, so let's jump into card making. The stamp sets I'm using today are from the Not Too Shabby shop. They are a small business. They have stamps and dies and things from other companies, but they also have their own stamps. And I love that. So I'm using Berry Sweet and Critter Pop stamp sets today. I will link the Not Too Shabby shop for you below. And let's jump into card number 1. So I'm going to use the cotton candy image, and I'm stamping that with Memento black ink onto a strip of white cardstock, and I want 5 of these. I'm going to make a rainbow card. So I'm starting with R22 and going around the edge of my cotton candy. I wanted these to be kind of light in color in the center with just a little bit of dark on the edge, and some of them came out a little darker than I wanted, but in the end I am really happy with them. Now in the center of these cotton candies, they're little stars, so I love that, and that's going to play into some of my design elements on today's cards. Also, you might notice I colored over this cotton candy 2 times. That's kind of my new thing lately, is to do 2 layers of coloring, and then I don't have to worry about, oh, did I get enough shadow down the first time? I can go kind of light-handed the first go around, and then the second go around perfect my shading, and I just am really loving that. Plus, I can get an even more light highlight because part of it I don't color over the second time. So I'm really digging that. Give it a try if you have not. And I'm coloring these kind of fast because this is a long video with 3 cards and all that shaving cream fun. So the lids are on screen, and if you need to slow this down or pause it, you can totally do that in case you want to replicate any of the colors that I used on today's cards. But I just recommend like shopping your stash. What do you have? What colors do you like? And use that. Now, sometimes you see a color that somebody's using and you're like, oh my word, what is that color? I have to have it. And that's when I like to slow it down or pause it. So here's my last one in the light blue, and then you can see all my cotton candies. I kind of colored in a swirly motion to make them look a little more fluffy. And there's them already cut out and ready to go. Next, when I am picking what I want for my background, I'm going to use a die because you could cut this with a paper cutter very easily, but this die has a perforated edge, and also I can select the exact area that I want for my background. So that's the large slimline die set from Lawn Fawn. I'm going to also use that to cut a strip of brushed silver cardstock, so I have like a little counter, so to speak, for my cotton candy to sit on. Next, I'm going to use the Oliver's Stitched ABCs and cut out the word sweet, and I'm doing that from some glittered cardstock that's silver. It's really a light silver. I love it. So I'm going to put that on top of my cotton candies, 1 letter per cotton candy, which is why I don't have a purple one. Plus the rainbow with 5 colors fits really good on my slimline card. So I'm just gluing those down right in the center to spell out the word sweet. And then we can start putting the card together. So on the back of each of those cotton candies, I have added foam squares so I can pop them up, but the counter itself I'm just going to glue down, and that lines up really nice with the stitching that's already on the background. And then, like I said, I am putting foam squares plus liquid adhesive because of that film that the shaving cream leaves on the paper, and that just gives me a little peace of mind that these aren't going to come off the card. So also the liquid glue allows me to scoot these over if I don't get them evenly spaced, which I did end up scooting over the W and the E a little bit, the yellow one. All right, now it's time to stamp a sentiment to go with this. So this sentiment is from that Berry Sweet stamp set, and it says a little something a little treat for someone so, and then I have the word sweet on my cotton candy. So I thought that was a really fun way to use my alphabet and do a customized sentiment. So I stamped that twice with Versamark Onyx black ink, since I am stamping on top of the shaving cream, and that just really helps it to stand out on top of that. So then I have my slimline card, which is 8 3/4 by 7.5, scored at 3 3/4. So I do have a white border all the way around. I've got some shimmer star embellishments here from Trinity Stamps that I'm adding in and around all of my cotton candy for a little extra embellishment and shine. So there you can see what it looks like with all the stars on there, and that finishes up the card, except I did at the last minute decide to add some white gel pen highlights to my cotton candy. So that is card number 1. I love the swirly soft background of the shaving cream. I'm just having so much fun with it from where I started out with shaving cream to where I've come. So, all right, card number 2, we're doing the very first background that I made. I felt like this kind of looks like frosting smeared across something. I'm doing a square card. So this is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. And I have a little strip that's 1 inch, and I put that at the bottom to be the counter again. And this time I'm going to use the little bear holding a cupcake and the large cupcake itself. I'm going to stamp 2 of those large cupcakes to complete my scene. And there's little faces that you can stamp onto the different images in this set. So I'm adding the larger of the 2 faces to the large cupcakes, and then the smaller face to the cupcake that the bear is holding. I also decided to go ahead and stamp out a sentiment that says "very sweet" to use on this card, and then it's time to color. So for the bear, I decided a black bear would be really cute for this particular card. So I'm starting with my C8 marker for my darkest color. And you can see I'm just putting a little bit in, being, kind of conservative with my darkest color. And then I'll bring in my midtone, which is going to be C6. And I just thought the cool markers were going to be the best for the other colors I was going to use on this card. And so that's why I chose the cool grays. When normally for an animal, I tend to go warmer grays, but not today. So C4 is my lightest color, and now I can really fill this in and spread out all the ink blending that I've already put down. And I do go over this bear twice because I wanted to darken it up a little bit, but just starting lighter makes it easy for me to then just add a tiny bit more. So I'm adding R20 to all of really the rest of the bear, and then R22 for the bow. So the black and pink is just so cute. All right, and then I use the R22 to dress up my cupcake. And by the way, this is like a strawberry cupcake. So that's why I'm using those same pinks for the cupcake itself. And then the frosting, I decided lemon would be delish. So I added the same yellows I used on my cotton candy. And then for the little cupcake wrapper, I'll use that BG32 and BG11, which is the same colors I used on the cotton candy. And then I just reversed the larger cupcake. So we have lemon cupcake with strawberry frosting, and I think they're adorable. And then of course I'm adding white gel pen highlights to complete all of these images. And I just think those cupcakes with the faces are so cute. It's no secret that I love stamped images that are food and critters. Food stamps, critter stamps, those have to be my favorites. So, all right, I have this row of hearts die set that's from Trinity Stamps. I'm going to stamp this from the background of my card, and then I'm going to also, did I say stamp it? I'm die cutting it. Yeah. Okay, die cutting it from yellow glitter paper and turquoise glitter paper. Then I can add this to my 5x5 note card, and I'll inlay those glitter hearts into the openings there, and I'll just alternate the colors, and that's going to really pull out the colors in my cupcakes. So I thought this was really fun. And glitter paper. I love glitter paper. And you know what I love about glitter paper is you can get away with using a tiny amount, so it lasts a long time. All right, there's my bear, again, getting popped up with foam squares, and then I'm putting the cupcakes on either side, and oh my goodness. What a cute scene. It's so bright and cheery. And just with a sentiment, very sweet, you can really customize this card when you're ready to send it by adding like a happy birthday or a thank you or whatever you wanted to the inside. And I feel like a happy birthday would go really good since it's got cupcakes. And then I'm adding some shimmer hearts to this card, just like the shimmer stars, but hearts in this card, because I've got the hearts across the top and there's hearts on the cupcake. So this card just, called for more hearts. Then I have a heart left over from each of those, the turquoise glitter paper, the yellow glitter paper, and the shaving cream background. So I added those to the inside of the card. And there it is. There's the complete card number 2. Oh my goodness, I'm having so much fun with these stamps. They're really darling images. But I wanted to bring in another stamp set, which is the Critter Pops. Now I'm using this background here that is the very last one I did, where I smeared it all over and it's kind of orangey looking. And I'm using the Star Stencil set from Pretty Pink Fresh Studio, Pink Fresh Studio. And I did the first layer with my saltwater taffy. The second layer, so you're going to line up the stars, and the star you line up over the top is a little bit smaller, and that was with my coral color. And then the last one, I'm going to do lumberjack plaid. It's a tiny star in the middle, and having this slightly shaving creamed looking background with the stars that are layered on top, it just made for like such a gorgeous custom background. I love it so much. All right, so now I'm going to pull out the Critter Pop that looks like a bear, and then there's some little wrapped candy, or a wrapped candy from the other set, Berry Sweet, and I'm going to stamp those twice. I actually end up making 3 of these candies, and the littlest face fits perfectly on them. So now it's time to color. I had to do chocolate drizzle. I thought about doing strawberry drizzle, except that the top of the pop has hair and ears. So I felt like going brown. Chocolate drizzle is pretty standard on pops like this, so that's what I did. And I used E57 and E25 and E23 for this. And again, I went over this 2 times. I wasn't sure at first if I was going to do a second layer, but it really smoothed out my ink blending to do it a second time. So I will go over it one more time after that. Next, I am doing the bow, and I'm just bringing back those same colors that I used on the previous cards, except the brown. And I really like these colors together, especially the last card with the pink, the yellow, and the turquoise. So fun. This one's going to be more pink and orange, and I guess the brown for chocolate. So this is a strawberry pop with the chocolate drizzle. I think that sounds very yummy. And then the stars on the popsicle are going to be orange. So this is the same orange combination I used on the cotton candy. And I really like that soft YR02. Such a good marker. I also brought in E31 to do the stick on my popsicle. I guess you could totally do this a color. That would be really fun too. All right, then the candies, one is pink, one is orange. The same colors I used on my popsicle. I added some white gel pen highlights, of course, and the coloring is way off right here. I don't know why, but you'll see them on the card and it'll look way better, but there they are cut out. Next, I stamped a sentiment on a piece of kind of coral cardstock, and then I stamped the other sentiment on to my background. So this is going to say, "You're cool, I like you very much." And then I'm going to stick all the things down with some foam squares, my little images. This candy's getting tucked behind, so I trimmed off the edge of it, and this one will get layered over the top. And then I glued it down to my mini slimline card. So this card measures 6 by 6, scored at 3 inches, and my background itself was 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. And there you can see I added that third candy. And now it's time for more stars. There are stars on the bear, the bear pop, the Critter Pop. So I decided to put just the tiniest stars around the candies, and then 3 little hearts right above the bear to finish off my card. But that background, I'm so in love with it. And the colors on this one are just so soft and pretty. So there's my third card. I had so much fun making these, and I have so many shaving cream backgrounds left. I can't wait to use them. And here I'm going to show you all 3 cards together, and I want you to tell me which one is your favorite. Let me know in the comments below. And if you have never visited the Not Too Shabby shop, you should definitely check it out. They have like kits of the month that you can get. stamp set of the month that you can get. They have their own papers, so they have a lot of cool stuff that's really exclusive to them. Plus, they're a little shop, and the owner, Jamie, is amazing. So make sure you check it out. Their shipping and customer service is excellent. Okay, so head over there and visit the shop. I will have it linked for you below. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please consider subscribing if you're new here because I have new videos just like this all the time. And I will see you very soon on the next one. Happy stamping! Bye!